Hello, my name is Larry Casso. I want to welcome you once again to my studio. We're going to attempt another new approach to painting a subject that we have I've never used before, and we just finished painting an oil in, or I should say, on a wood panel that's put out by the same people that put out the pastel board. And the name of the company is Ampersand. And the wooden panel worked very nicely for me for the oils. I wanted to attempt to do the same thing. Many people have acrylics or are interested in how would it do on acrylics. Well, my only experience on paneling was I did a painting a number of years ago of a place called the Babin Plantation. It's across the river, was located across the river, south of Plaquemine, Louisiana, and was just south also of Nottoway, the plantation. And when I did this painting, it was a long, narrow painting, maybe 18 to 22 inches by 48 inches. And I actually used a Luan paneling, and I put several coats, which is a very smooth surface. I put several coats of just regular acrylic out of a can in gray, and sanded between each layer, and got a real nice surface. And I found that the surface worked very, very well for acrylic, and I hope this will do the same. I'm going to do a few things that will be somewhat different on this painting for those of you who do acrylics. And most of you have seen me teach acrylics and paint acrylics like I now do oils, where I don't really take a palette knife and mix a lot of paint or whatever. I like mixing my paint as I go along. There's a lot of reasons for this. But that's what I do. And however, if I have a situation where I'm going to mix a large mass I'll cover a large mass and I want to have a lot of pigment, make sure that I don't run out, then I'll take the palette knife and I'll mix as much as I think I'll need to have, even more most of the time. And concerning this subject about mixing paint, you have to remember, paint is the cheapest thing you're going to have when you're painting. Your time and your energy and whatever, that's really where the cost is. So when you paint, if it's not your passion in your hobby, then and you're not willing to pay the price to use paint freely, always use brushes that really are, once they're worn out, you can use a small brush on one painting and wear it out. And so always try to use good equipment, and I think you're going to find out that in the long run your work will be more professional, and you'll enjoy it a lot better. And but back to this, what's going to make this unique is the fact that I want to mix a sky where we're going to have a gradation of the acrylic down into the white. And this can be accomplished in acrylic as well as it can be accomplished in oils. It can be done. I've done a painting once, I think it was something like 20 by 24 by 36 maybe, of a flag that is the flag of Donaldsonville. It's probably still hanging in the city hall over there. When my cousin Lala Ruggiero was mayor, I was asked to do that by another cousin. I did a painting of this flag, and I covered large areas, and all you have to do is mix a lot of paint, cover a big area, use big brushes, and acrylic will last quite a while. I don't like using retardants that keep it from drying, or I don't like adding anything else to it personally. Now everybody has their own way, and I'm not dogmatic about things like that. You've got to do these things basically how you feel you should do them. But for me personally, I like to use it directly from the tube. I like mixing it directly. If I need to do a large mass, I'm going to do it. So we're going to do a number of things that I think you're going to find a little different, and I hope you'll enjoy, and it'll be a good learning experience for you. And a lot of it, I don't even know what I'm going to be doing, so we're going to have a good time together. Now, the name of the lighthouse that I'm going to be painting, it's called the, hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, the Pemaquid Point Light. Pemaquid Point Light. And it's a historic U.S. lighthouse, and it's located in Bristol, Maine, at the top of the Pemaquid Peninsula. Now, you're wondering, have I ever been to Maine? I wish I had. I lived in Vermont for 3 years. But, you know, you wish things like that, then you realize there's so much in these places. No matter where you go, you're going to have to spend a lot of time looking and researching. And that's why I'm very thankful I learned about Google Earth, because I literally have hundreds of, I think, world-class pictures that I've gotten as I roam the world almost on a daily basis or a nightly basis. And as soon as I find something that I like, and there are many subjects, doesn't mean you're going to do it exactly like that. This one, I like it just exactly like it is. But the point is, you can get moods and colors and variations, and mostly you can copy subjects that you would never have an opportunity in your lifetime to see, and pick and choose from the variety. And I love lighthouses. I went all the way up the eastern coast and all the way down from Washington all the way to the tip of California, and did lighthouses along the western coast. I find it's quite an interesting study. I wish I could go see all of it. Never takes the place of that, but I'm thankful to have this because it's very exciting. Now let's move this over a little bit. The reason I have it over on the right is because of the fact that I'm going to lift this up slightly. Wrong way. Okay. Now, these are my colors. They're the basic colors that I use with oils and just about every other medium I work in now. And I learned this through studying a maritime artist by the name of John Stobart, who is probably the preeminent maritime painter in the world, and as far as I'm concerned, and I've followed him now for 40 years since he really became well known. He's from Britain originally, and he went to a school that for 200 years they only painted with 5 colors, and I'm sure black and white. So I decided to try it one time, and I used it for a sketching palette, but I found that it really works very well to just about do anything I want. It's very simple, it's clean, you'd be surprised the colors you can mix, the variations. It tends to give you a palette that's more original rather than having so many of your colors just come directly from the tube like you would buy paint for your walls. And I enjoy doing it and recommend that you try it one time. I tried it and really got excited about it. So that's what I've been doing ever since. This is white. Use ultramarine blue. Now there's also cobalt and cerulean, since this is a sky, that work very well on something like this. But personally, by the time you dilute the ultramarine, I think it gives a very pleasant sky color. You can add a little bit of alizarin crimson to it, and it really does give you nice going into the violet range or whatever you want to call it. And then I have it's quintessone, I think it's called red, in the golden acrylics. It's what I substitute for alizarin. This is cadmium red light, cadmium red yellow, and there's not a hooker's green like I use in watercolor, but there's a jenkins green. And then there's black, and it's burnt sienna. So white, ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson substitute, cadmium red light, cadmium yellow light, jenkins green, black, and burnt sienna. Okay, now the first thing I want to show you, let's come back over here again, is that because the sky is graded like this, we're going to come back And I'm going to take a palette knife. Now I've got a plastic one, and you can buy these things very, very inexpensive to keep them around in case you lose yours like I lost mine somewhere. And it works suitably for this. Now this is what I prefer doing. I'm going to take my blue and make sure I have adequate pigment. Take a little bit of my white. I probably would have done better to take the blue and add a little bit, add blue, take the white and add blue to the white, because I think I'm gonna run into a problem here figuring out how much I need. So what I'll do on the next go round is I'll grab me a bunch of white, and this happens all the time, and you see with just a tiny bit of blue you're able to mix your color. So I'm going to just add this now. This is diluted, and in cases like this, it might be a good rule to always begin with your white. Now let's just keep going here. Now, as I said, if you wanted something that looks more like a photographic blue, you can go ahead and use your, now this looks like it's going to work out pretty well with just what I have here. You can go ahead and use your other colors. Now see, this is about the right value. See, that's all I'm caring about. Color is irrelevant. You see, and as I squint my eyes, I'm seeing, and you notice how alizarin's got a little bit of red in it. That ultramarine blue does rather. That's not really added to it. That's just the color itself, and I kind of like that. So let's begin here, and I think I have enough color to do what I want to do. Okay, so we're going to start like this, and I hope that's on. Yeah, okay, that'll work. And if I wanted to take that out, I could probably add something to that blue to change it, but I like it. Okay, now I think that's going to be. Now notice, if you keep acrylic like this, and you mix a lot of it, if you're scared to have to mix more paint, which you should get over as soon as possible, then if you mix it in a large amount like this, you can paint all day with it, not add anything to it. I'm just a firm believer in using things directly as they were manufactured. Okay, in addition to this, I think I'm going to I used up quite a bit of the white, so to make sure I have enough, I'm going to put a little bit of plain white. So just wait so you know where I'm coming from, okay? Let's come over like this. Now I use my same watercolor brushes, and let's just bring it over like this, except I would like to go ahead and bring it, really do want to bring it back down now, maybe not fill up the whole paper, but give you a good idea of what I'm doing. Okay, now first thing I think I want to do, I've transferred this for time, and I think some of these areas are pretty close in here, so I'm going to go with my number 4 brush. Got a number 4 round. Now the brushes I use in watercolor as well as in acrylic, I use a number 2 round, number 4 round, and I use a number 8, and then I'll also use a 1/2 inch flat. And that's the 4 brushes I started with and the beginning, and that's what I still use. Okay, let's bring our board over here. Now, as I said, I transferred it. I used some graphite that I was sure would make a really good cover. So let's got everything now but the water. Okay. Now, acrylic is a water-based medium. It's not a substitute for oils. This is what a lot of people want to look at it as an alternative. It's really not an alternative. It's its own medium. And when it first came out, I bought that line that they gave to sell it, that you could use it either for oils or watercolor, and it didn't work very well for either. But now I use it with like oil sometimes and other ways, but it's acrylic, and it's a very beautiful medium in itself, but it's not oils, and it never will replace oils in terms of, I'm doing this very liberally. Just want to make sure I'm going over my lines. Now, it wouldn't be a disaster if I didn't, because I'm going to come up to about right here, let's come around this way, and of course you can't see very much about what I'm doing. Now, over here I'm not really too worried about the trees because as far as if I lose my lines, but when it dries I'll probably see them. So now notice I'm really not being sloppy purposely, but I'm kind of going around everything, getting my edges nice and crisp. And but I'm using a lot of texture. Okay, and I'm going to see if I can look up and see. I think I got that very well, but like I said, I'll be able to very easily come back later and change it. Okay, now here I want to get up into this area. Now the one thing that's wonderful about acrylic, and it's like everything else, if you master it, you'll love it. But it can't be, it's not something that you dilly-dally in. You have to play with it. It's a little bit ornery in the beginning. However, I think if you ever use it on this board, you're going to be sold on it, because it really does work very, very well. Now I'm just making sure I fill in everything. I'm not really worried, but it's going to dry about 10 minutes, and we can come back and paint over it. But I don't want it to dry. See, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Come up this way now. A lot of this I'll draw with the brush later. See, this is mainly to control me losing my direction and where I'm at, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about in terms of the. I love it. It's really taking this beautifully, filling it in very nicely. While I'm doing this, I'm going to come back again and just go ahead and grab this area and come across like this, like this. Okay, and I'm using a lot of pigment, and I don't know whether you can see me getting it, but I'm not adding anything to it. Okay, I like, if at all possible, I like to use it directly from the tube. But on occasion, in many occasions, if I have to add it, I'll add it. I wish you could see the lovely texture on this that's coming out now. Okay, but the primary thing is I want to keep the top part of it wet, and you'll see why I want to do that in just a moment. Now, I'm going to come around here, doing this just like I'd be doing a watercolor. Do this. I'm going to come back and do this. Come out here for that gable. Come around this way, back down to here. Okay, I think I've just about got that bottom part done. Now you can do this very quickly, very nicely. I want to make sure, even though my color is going to go a little bit below this, I do want it to come up a little bit higher. Okay, now here's the key. Now I'm going to put a little bit of water in it. Now along this top section, I'm going to come back, and this is the last section I'm painting. I'm going to really make it nice and thick and juicy, and it's going to stay wet as thickly as I'm putting it for quite some time. Now I'm going to go to my old faithful 1/2 inch flat. I'm going to find it. Here it is. And I'm just going to come in here now. I think you can see this on the screen. I got my blue all nicely mixed. So let's just come on. Now see, this is not taking it real well, so I'll just play with it till I get it to move smoothly. Okay, now we're going to come down. Now so I can see where this ends, I'm going to hold this up a little bit. I think you can still see it. Alright, now I'm going to come down like this, bring it like this, and so this is going to dry very flatly, primarily because I mixed the pigment and like I wanted to mix it. I'm going to have to come down here. It goes a little bit lower than this. Okay, now I'm going to probably do it a little bit more impressionistic, because I'm learning to use these brush strokes and play with oils and do things I've never done before. Now the first thing, I kind of got a little carried away with overlapping into the white and pulled some of the white out. That's not a problem. Notice how easy it is just to come back and play with it like this, and then you can just smooth it out. It'll grab your brush real nicely. Oh man, that's just perfect. Alright, now the next thing I want to do, let's see, I thought I had a 1/4 inch flat in here. I must have given it to somebody or lost it like I usually do. Okay, so that's all right. I'm gonna come up here, clean my white brush now that I was using for the bottom, and I want to just put a little blue in it. Now I'm gonna come down. Now notice how I'm gonna just start blending this. Okay, I'm overlapping the blue a little bit. See, and we're just gonna come right across now, covering up some of those trees. Okay, now as I come back, it's going to start blending a little bit better. But I'm going to come back now with the same brush. I'm going to come back with my blue. Now you notice I'm going to start up here, but now I'm going to bring it down and come across like this. Keep it real wet, keeping both of them real wet, and that'll give me the time I need to play with it till I get it to do exactly what I want to do. So let's just keep on coming down here. And I just want a nice smooth sky. And so I think we're pretty close to what I want now. Let's see what happens with my number 8 brush. If I come in here and use something a little bit big. And I told you, this is kind of new territory for me too, but not really. I've done it similar to this before. But I see I cleaned my brush. Hope you can see that. I just cleaned it and just kind of dried it out a little bit, got it flatly. I'm going to just start coming down like this. Now I've got the part that was half and half mixture now, see? So I'm dragging that down a little bit. Now the part that's here, I'm going to drag down a little bit more. You see, and I'm going to keep playing with it like this. Now I'm going to get it to a point through this process where it's just going to almost all disappear. Okay, let's clean the brush. Now I want to make sure I don't have anything in this brush, because I think looks like it's okay. I think my white is still going to be wet enough that I can do what I'm getting ready to do. So I'm going to come in now, and we're just going to go straight across like this. Make sure that's on the board for y'all. Okay, now you see, as I go down into my white, I'll clean my brush again. Now it's good to start at the end. You know, I had forgotten that little trick when you're doing this. Okay, and we're going to just bring this across like this. And I'm just kind of feathering it. See, now this is starting to grab a little. I could add water to it possibly and string it out a little bit longer, but I really would prefer not to do that. So I'm going to take my chances and just keep bringing it down like this. And let's turn it around and see what it looks like. I think we're going to be pretty close to what I want, but let's take a little bit of water on this, maybe to dilute it and work it together a little bit better. There we go. That's perfect. Now, what you're seeing is the different things that'll happen during the different stages of acrylic drying. Okay, so now I'm trying to do it back and forth now. See where I can create an unevenness in it. And I think this is going to be very close to what we want, and if not, it's going to be close enough. You see? So we'll just come like this. But primarily down at the bottom, I want it to remain solid white. So let's make sure I don't have anything on this. Kind of flatten my white out a little bit here. Then I'll start coming back up with more white, dragging that upward. And over here, I think I had a bigger area than I imagined. It's drying, so we may have to make our tree a little taller. Just not worry about it. Okay, now let's play with that just a little bit more. Now remember, this is the last part I wet heavily, you see, and as a result of it, it's still allowing me time to play with it some more. And if that's going to show up, it's just going to be a little cloud on the horizon, and I'll say I planned it that way. Okay, now the nice thing about this, I'm finished with it. What I would like to do now is go and blow dry it. I'll put it on pause and I'll just go blow dry it, and let's see what we're going to wind up with when it dries. Now this took about 30 seconds to dry it. Now I do have a few areas that make sure you keep those brushes soaking in water when you're using acrylic, because they'll certainly dry up on you. So what I'm going to do, I'm really not worried about it too much as it is. The biggest thing I think that created that problem was the fact that so what I'm going to do, what created that problem before I change the subject, was the fact, now I'm going to come back over it. Was the fact that I should have, if I'd have done it in a complete wash like I'm doing now and not worried about the other buildings, I would have been a little bit better off. But like I said, you know, who's counting? We're not going to worry about something like this. I think this will help it a little bit. Okay. And then if I want to come back and take my white, I can come back around this way, you see. And work it up. So it's a little tricky doing this. Been away from it a long time, not making excuses. Because frankly, I don't care. It's going to work, and if it doesn't, I'll do something else. Okay, let's dry this one. This will just be real quick. Okay. Now, I think this is dry enough to proceed. Next thing I'd like to do is, sun is coming from the left over here. So I've got a bright, kind of an alizarin type roof. So we're going to take, let's put the alizarin with a little bit of the green. See what kind of, it's a kind of a strange color. So let's take the alizarin and the green together. Now I'm mixing these two. Just with the brush. Some of the colors are prone to mix a little better than others. I'm going to add a little white to it now. And I'll come up with a kind of a grayish color that looks a little bit like it has a little more green in it maybe. So be it, it's going to have it. So we're going to come like this. Now this is great about really moving in. And covering nicely and evenly. I'm going to come down here, and I think this will go all the way to the base line here. And then we'll come back up here. Now, just as the wood I've used before, it has a little texture in it, but it's covering it very, very nicely. Okay, now we'll leave that for a second, and we might put a little added thing. I'll take a little bit of ultramarine blue, mix a little burnt sienna with it, which gives us a nice gray. Substitute it for your burnt umber, and I think this is going to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to get it in here, and while it's still wet. Now here's the problem with acrylic. When you start doing things like this, if it starts drying on you, it'll dry pretty quickly. So you always have to be sure and come back with more pigment. And if not, it'll just start lifting the pigment up. See, so this is working fine. Come on down like this. Okay, now I gave it a little bit more gradation. Even though it's hitting the light area, I wanted it to still have that gradation. Okay, let's not get too detailed here. We're going to go in with a little bit of, I love ultramarine blue and the quintesson or alizarin. And I know every time I say that word quintesson, I'm not saying it right, but I really should take time to learn and read it. But You know how that goes? Okay. Now we're going to come back, put my shadow color on the side. Now this is a, it's rather light, and want a little bit more brown in it to keep it away from the blue, as well as the blue sky, as well as to gray it down a little bit more. So we'll come down like this and like this. I want it a little bit darker. Probably still needs to be a little bit more, but we're going to just go ahead with this anyhow and see what it does. Okay, we're going to do this, and then we'll come back and see it's hazy and it's in the distance, maybe just what we want. Okay, then we have a darker. We'll take again the alizarin. Now you find your colors are not going to mix quite as well. We want a little bit more burnt sienna in this, and not any water, any white added to it at all. So it's and again, I'm having to take a little time. I'm not making excuses about anything. Just taking a little time to learn how to use this. Okay, I think that's going to be very close to what we want. Okay, now as this part is probably dried already, so you can come right back in now. It just won't, it'll start picking up like I said. So if it's a little bit, come back let it dry for a minute, come back and touch it up. You get it to be as smooth as you want it. See, but I'm not really worried about it being that smooth. Okay, let's get a little crimson and red. And probably a little burnt sienna to tone all that down. Let's do our chimney. Now this is where it takes a little getting used to, as far as the amount of water, whatever to use. I'm just going to do the whole chimney, and I'll come back and darken one side of it. Okay, it's worked fine. Let's do a little something here. I don't know what this was, but we'll put that on there like that because it was there. Okay, now probably still have that a little bit darker on the side of the building, but I don't really want to waste a lot of time on this, so I'm really trying to keep this as more like a sketch. So we'll just proceed with it and not sweat the small stuff. All right. Now, in the meanwhile, let's drop back down to the number 4 brush and take a little bit of this red. Put it in, straighten it out a little bit better. Okay. Now, why don't I take a little black, dilute it, and then I'll come right over the side and make that dark really stand out. And then we'll put a darker shadow on this one right here while it's still wet. And that takes care of that, you see? All right, now, on the side of the building, we're going to take a white, tone it down just a little bit, but still keep it more white than not. And let's see how this works now, or it's covering. Now what I want to do is that there's a facial board here. So we're going to come down like that. It might be a little wider than it should be, but it's working very well. Now you're going to find out that as you get more and more paint on here, it's easier and easier to paint it. Okay, and let's go back to this right here. We used for our darker section a minute ago, whichever one we did. Okay. Now drying time, like in so many other mediums, is very, very critical. A couple of areas on top of the building dried unevenly for whatever reasons. Since most of that's white, it's very easy to go back there and touch it up. And that's where you'll have probably your biggest problem is getting it to getting the edges sharp and getting used to the drying time and how much you actually have to dilute it. I'm going to come back here. I made that a little bit wide, so I'm going to come back and make this a little darker. Now here's an example. Should have added a little bit more white. And one wonderful thing about it, no matter what you do, it'll dry in a minute. You come back and fill it in again. Okay, we're going to come across here like this. And I think what I'm going to do on the outside of it, rather than trying to darken that a whole lot, I'm just going to come in, show my facial board like that, maybe add a little dark to it afterwards. I likewise want to do the same thing over here. And here's one of those situations where if you wanted to do it, you could come in and just dilute your water, do it and kind of dilute it a little bit, make it more like a watercolor. You see, and this would be an oil, it would be like a glaze. Now that's really getting into the range of what I like. See what I like, that's already dried. Now see, that's where it can work against you, but it can also work for you if you're patient and you just play with it a little bit and get the hang of it. Now we're going to come back over here, and I think I will make this, make that too dark now. Get another towel. I wanted to glaze it. I went overboard. Okay. So we're going to come back like this. Add a little more water. Lift that. Not having quite as dark. See, that's just enough to separate it some more. Okay, again, I'm still fiddling around too much. Okay, let's take the same gray area and hit the side of this building. Now this may not be the exact color that I'm going to want it to be. I'm going to bring it down like this. It's probably going to be okay. And I'll show you why in a minute. Okay, likewise, we're going to take a little bit. I'm just going to take a little bit of black and dilute it for time's sake. Put us a little shadow under here. And now I'm going to begin to be more like watercolor. And I'm going to start just diluting it. Okay, then here we'll have the bottom window here. And then maybe up here we'll just have some panes like that and suggest that window, and that's it. You're so far away, you want it to tend to get into detail, but it's really not necessary to do it. Alright, now I'm going to come in like this. I'm going to bring that down. Put that window in. Now sometimes if I'm in doubt, I'll do it even knowing it's going to probably dry lighter, and just come back and touch it up afterwards if that's the easiest way to do it. Okay, we'll come back. Now this is working real well. I'm just going to go ahead and put me a roof on the top of this. Just get a little black. I don't care if this is real dark. Put me a little roof up here on the top of that dormer. And then likewise, we'll cast us a little shadow here, and this will really make this part begin to settle down and make a little bit more sense. Okay, now in the back we have some areas where, again, I'm trying to avoid really being too picky. We have some areas here where it looks like they had some large picture windows or maybe a back porch. So we're going to come in and we're going to put that in rather darkly. Now notice all I'm worried about really is a little form to give this some structure. Okay, we're going to do that, and then coming on the side, we're going to have another window here coming like this. Probably going to cover both of these up anyhow. But that'll suffice for what I'm trying to do here. Now, right here where we come to the roof, get this working correctly as far as the right amount of water. And I'm just going to come right in, put me a clear line across here and a little shadow under it. Okay, and that's our roof line with the shadow on it. I think all in all, it's working out very well. And see, the nice thing, if I decide later that some of this is a little bit too dark, let's come back in and lighten it up a little bit. See, now that's a plus. Believe me, you always remember you're laying it in for the next time you do the next thing, etc., etc. Now on the side of the building, we want to get some more of this gray in over here. We're not going to see too much of it, but let's just put the corner of the building like this. Come back here, shade this in. Like I said, don't sweat the small stuff. Okay, it looks like that suck ought to be there for a couple of 100 years. Come back like this. Do this. Okay, I think that's going to take care of it. Let me put this on pause for just a second. Now, one things you want to remember when you're doing this is that it's not like oils. Oils, You can put it on to a certain point, it mixes beautifully, it stays wet, but then you also have to let it dry. Okay, with this acrylic, you can put it on sloppily. 2 minutes later, come back and touch it up. And every layer you put on gets easier and easier. That's what you want to remember, okay? Don't fight it. Be cool. All right, let's go to we'll go to our ultramarine blue and our alizarin, a little bit of burnt sienna, and then we'll get us some white. Now this is small scale, makes it a little more difficult. Not trying to make excuses or whatever, but it's the way it is, and you can, I think, work sometimes a lot better and easier when it's bigger. But this is a great size. You'll see in a minute with the frame. It's a great size to play with, and so forth. Now back here, we're going to come right along, make one color. We want to make sure it's dark enough, and it's going to be fine. We're going to come like this and like this. Okay, and then we're going to come back like this. And then we're going to go up here. We're going to do this part right here, and then do the shadow. Now notice, I'm just doing it continuously. And that's another great benefit to what we're doing. All right, now while I'm allowing that to dry, I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to take, I might just take my burnt sienna and some black and just make a darker color for my roof. So let's come on up like this. Come on like this. Anything you do like this, you just have to remember, it's new. It takes a little while to get used to. You probably are going to only have a couple of favorites, which is where I'm different. Everyone's a challenge, and I love the challenge of it. And I love the fact that I can do so many things with it because it dries quickly. So that's why I'm saying it's a matter of just you personally determining what you like and why. Okay, and let's take a little bit of this brown, like a little grayish color with the black mixed in it. I'm going to come here, put a shadow in. Now, made a mistake, started applying it without enough water. I want to make that come a little further. So without enough pigment on it, and then trying to work it, and that's what I said. So like this one over here, be specific. That's a little bit dark, see? So again, that's perfect. Again, I'm not interested in detail. So we're going to finish that part like that. And then let's come in, take a little black, do the roof. We'll come like this. Okay, and then we have the chimney over here. Now all I'm interested in is these buildings linking together. Okay, and because what it's going to do, it's going to be a little darker, and it's going to connect all of this as a value that's slightly darker than what it is in the picture. And I kind of like that because of the fact that, now let's see if we can just bring this even a little further up here where you can see better what I'm doing. I can just keep it on the paper. Okay. All right, now I'm just going to take a little darker red, like the alizarin. Maybe mix a little burnt sienna with it. See, I don't fuss over this stuff. So I got me another chimney back here. what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it like this, come across here, bring it back like this, and then I'll wait a minute and then make one side of it a little darker, and that's all I really have to do to it. Okay, now the next part, I want to make sure I have a little color mixed up for my shadow on that lighthouse. Let's do a couple of things first. I'd like this to be slightly darker here to make that all recede a little bit more. Maybe have a little grayish shadow under the front of it there. Okay, yeah, like that much better. Okay. What I'm trying to do now is to get my green, a blue rather, and put over a little bit of alizarin in it, and my brown. Now I want a gray. And it's reddish looking, I want it more blue. It's going to be a little on the dark side. So we'll add a little bit more like this. Then I can add it to the actual picture itself. Okay, let's come back up here. Take the pure white. Now see here I'm going to have a little problem which I'll handle later because it's the same exact color as the background. Okay, and so we're going to bring this up and around. I'm going to add a little more water to it this time on this other side. And I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to take my shadow color again. I'm going to come back up like this. Remember, I have to have it slightly darker than the sky behind it. So that's what I'm aiming to do. Then we're going to come up like this. Now you notice as I get to the point where I'm with, see I have plenty enough pigment on here now. Therefore this area is, oh man, I'm so sorry. This area is drying very nicely. So I did the white, then I did the ultramarine blue, the grayish color I mixed, and I did the entire color side at one time. And so now you get a much smoother white like I was trying to get on the other one, you see. I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and then later I'm going to glaze a little color over the lighthouse, make it stand out a little bit more. Okay, let's take, these colors are pretty unusual. Let's take the alizarin and a little bit of the vermilion. And I'm going to come around the top of this now, and possibly I should go to a smaller brush, let's see. I just love it if I can get it right where I can just come like that and do one stroke. But see, it starts drying quickly. Again, there's disadvantages now, and you'll feel it very soon. So get it straight along there. That's perfect. Okay, now we're going to come up here. This is going to go about, just make it solid. It's going to be a little bit above your eye level, so we're going to curve it like this. I'm going to put that like that and fill that in. Okay. And then we're going to on a pencil. Now, remember now, I'm imagining all this in my mind. I've already figured it out. And so I'm going to do this and this. And then we're going to have another area like this. And then this is going to come like this. And go up, come back down again. And then we're going to have a straight line there. However, that's going to be black. So we're going to take our black. See, all of that's getting close to being like it should be. Primary thing that you're going to have trouble with is allowing the drying time, making sure you don't put too much water in it, and paint over something that is not quite dry, because it will pick it up, and you'll get the feel of all of it. Okay, now let's get some pure black to simplify this. Make sure I have enough water with it, but not too much. This is a number 4 that seems to be working pretty well. So I'm going to come up like that, back down like this. Well, to go up a little higher since I didn't get it quite the point it should have had. And I'm going to come around like this. Okay, and then we're going to try to get this thing really rolling here like we want it, and just come up and put our little one stroke here for that part that stands out of the top of it. Okay, now we are definitely going to have a rim under here. I think this brush will be just about right to do it. That worked out fine. Now, along with that, I'm going to get me a little bit of the diluted black. I think the red's probably dry by now. And I'm going to put a little bit of that over here. I need to put a little bit more. Now if I lose it and it gets too dark, so be it. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, then I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to have my dark going all the way across here. Okay, and just take me a little bit of water and dilute this like a watercolor. Soften out a little bit. You see, again, don't be sidetracked with too much detail. Block it in, let it rip. If you don't like it, change it later. I'm satisfied. Okay. Feel like I need a little darker area on the opposite side, so I'm going to come back in, maybe take a little bit more of this color I put down, not maybe using quite as much white. There we go. Make that edge stand out just so I'm trying to use areas that are already pre-mixed. I think I have enough to do this. If not, I'll do whatever. Now you see this I can almost take it out like that, and it just works perfectly. Okay. Now under here, this is where we have the part for the lamp. So we're going to come down like this, make sure that gets filled in correctly. And let's take my smaller brush now to be sure that see what happened to it. I knew I had a number 2 in this. All right. Take plain black again. Now see, I had a little trouble getting this in the center, so I'm just going to come back in and round this out, flatten that a little bit. But I'm telling you, nobody's going to be counting, only you. And then I'm going to put my little structural thing right here, another one right here. Okay. And then towards the base of this, I might have a little object silhouetted, which will be the lantern. And that'll be enough. Lastly, we'll take a little bit of yellow now. Maybe a little bit of burnt sienna mixed with it, but mostly yellow. I don't want to overdo this, but I want to glaze that color over it in such a way that it differentiates it from that. So I'm just going to have it on the edge like that. Add a lot of water to it, just like an oil. Bring it right on over. See, that's perfect. And I think that's sufficient. And if we wanted to put a little bit more of the yellow over here, just leave one highlight. I think that's even better. Okay. It looks like it's really catching that sunlight now. And if I need to, I can lighten a little bit more later on. Okay, lastly, we've got a dark red brick building. It's like an alizarin crimson. So I'm going to take a little bit of the alizarin, mix a little white with it, and darken it with the burnt sienna. It's a little bit too bright. And come back, maybe put a little bit more alizarin in it. And I think this may still be a little too bright, but I'll wash other color over it if I need to. So while we got that brush nice and juicy, let's go ahead and hit it. So we'll come like this, go across like this, come down like this, and then just fill it in. Okay. Make sure all the lines are lining up like we want them to. And then I'll come in on the side of it, and I'll take a little bit of, this is kind of have a stronger cast shadow on the side. So we'll get a little bit of the blue and the brown with the red. And I'll just go ahead and slide that in there right now. And it's going to be, as I said, much stronger. So that's perfect. It's much stronger than the one in the front. That's what we want. Okay. I'll show you what I was telling you about with that white, with that yellow on there rather. Clean this. Come back with the white. Sometimes I think this detail stuff is a lot harder to do than, okay, now see, I'm rounding it out a little bit. Oh, I like that. Now that's much softer. Still accomplishing the same thing, but it's not interfering with it being white. All right, now I know the center of my roof needs to be about right here. Okay, so let's bring this up a little bit. And we have this one coming over like this behind it. Okay, and same way, we got a little problem with the white, but I think it's still better to do the white. Now it's got a little bit reddish tint to it. That may go with this actually better. So we're going to come right on down like this, going up to here, come across, go right over those lines. Okay. Now I've got to go on a little bit further with this. I think I overshot the mark. But that'll be cool. It'll work. Okay, can't wait for you to see. Just a minute, I'll mix my greens and just go right on across there. One basic green and really make this thing start tying together. Again, it's one thing just takes a little time to get used to, is getting those lines as thick and thin as you want them to be. And it's just part of the territory. We'll get it. Let's see, that's one that I went back, did too much, so we're going to just tone this down again. And we'll come back up. But some more of our gray up here. Just kind of draw it as we paint it. Lighten it, light a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to take, again, while I'm doing this, I'm going to come over here and try something. So, this is where you love it. Marginally yellow over that building. That's helping it cast, give that feeling of sunlight on it. Same way up here, just go over everything with it, see? Now that doesn't make the lighthouse stand out. And I might even put a little bit in here and catch some reflected light. Okay. And, all right, now, that's pretty much going to be it for this. Let's put a window in. We'll come in about right here. Put that window in. Boy, does that really set it off. And we want to come up and put our railing like this. Oh man, this baby. Keep it up, keep it up. This baby is rolling. Okay. I think we're going to go ahead and let that one fly. And for that part of it, let's do the rest of it now. Okay, take a little white. Pick a spot. Well, let's first of all, let's paint this whole area in again with another coat. Okay, now while that's drying for a moment, I'm going to go ahead and start mixing my green color for the next batch. We'll put it on pause. Okay, I've got a little bit of my black and my brown mixed up. And it works very good on these roofs. So we're going to just come down like this. And hit that. And we're going to do this. Cover this up. And that's going to take care of that side. Now, I'm going to use a little bit of the gray color that I mixed up earlier. Now, I already know. I'll get my blue. Now, again, this is a pain having to mix it, but you do it when you do watercolor. You see, it's the same thing. And so we're going to get the three colors. I'm going to put white on it, with it rather. Just put the white on the side. Now we're going to have to go back a little where you can see this on the screen. Okay. So I've got this column, add a little bit of white to it. Because remember, we have to show that still looking like it's white, but it's got to have a little grayish tint to it to separate it from the rest of it. And we may likewise go in there and put some other color into that too. So we're going to come down like this. I think this is going to be just perfect for what I need. I think you can see that on the screen. Now, if at all possible, it's nice when you can get it to work for you by going on nicely. Seems to. But again, 2 more minutes. I know I'm going to come back and I'm going to settle it down. So I'm going to come like this. Got a little bit here again. This I want to try to dilute almost like a watercolor where I can control it. And that's all I need. I got those two together there. Okay. Now I'll come back and I'll take a little bit stronger color than what I used. Doesn't really matter. Float my shadow across there like that. You see, I'm doing that while it's a little wet, and it's working very, very nicely. Now, my one regret is leaving that line there in the middle. So we just got to play with it till we get it out of there. That's not a big deal. Okay, then I'm going to come across here. We'll do that white there. Very sloppily. Back over here again. Get in the picture. This is so small, I'm really trying to do the best I can to get it for y'all like that. Okay, I think that's going to work for what we need. We'll get a little bit more of this darker gray color. Let's see if I can come up with any of it anywhere. Doesn't have to really be that much. We're not going to see any detail this far away. We don't want to try to. So we're just going to come down like this and hit it. And that's going to do everything we wanted to do there. Then we'll get a little bit of our darker gray here. I think I might have a little bit enough of this mixed up to where we can come here. Now this will probably have to be a little bit darker, but I'll put it on there lightly like this, and then I'll take the black and I'll go right against the edge of it because it's a dark black roof, but I want it to act like it's reflecting a little bit of light. So we'll just do this. Perfect. Fade it out a little bit. Well, you can see it's definitely darker. And then I'll also take some of my pure black, put a little line under here showing that shadow, which is probably not necessary, but I'll go ahead and do it anyhow. And then we're going to come across the top and sharpen those edges slightly. I think that's all we need to do for that. Okay, now I really messed it up down here. I think I have a little bit of this red mixed. I don't know whether it's going to do what we want it to do, but I'm fixing to antique the building a little bit if it doesn't. Come across like, no, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Now I find that this texture doesn't work with the acrylics quite as well as it worked with the oils, but it's going to be sufficient. Just have to put a few accent places, and okay, that's going to work really good. Now we've got one window down here that I'll make sure I'm still on here. All right. Now notice I'm just going to take a line and then put it down like this, and then bring it over like this a little bit. Just show where that shadow would be lightly. And I'm going to take a little bit of white. And even if this doesn't dry exactly like we want it, it's going to be close enough. See, I mixed a lot of water so I can get it the size, the window the size that I want it, but it doesn't matter if it's not a solid white, because that's what's going to happen when you dilute it. What's under there is going to come through, particularly when you're doing red. Okay, let's come do this, come do this. Okay. And take a little black. I'm going to show a little cast shadow in the window, except that wasn't very black. Let's get some solid black. Don't sweat the detail. Hardest thing. We're going to do that, and then we're going to take some gray. I don't think we're going to find any that are mixed, so we're going to take the blue and the red, and I'm going to dilute it a little bit. We've got a line across here that we want to put in. It should dry a lot lighter than the other. Maybe put another line under here while we're doing it. Another line here. And hit this with a little bit of white. On this side over here like it's a window. That's all, folks. I'm going to call that part finished. Take a little break here and go get some clean water. Okay, now what I did, I mixed up some Hocus green and, Jenkins green, cadmium yellow, and a little bit of white. For the shadow, I took Hocus green, Jenkins green, pardon me again, a little bit of black. Now, as I look at this, first thing I want you to notice is that all the shrubbery is in shadow. It's very dark. So I have this almost a solid dark over here. And then all of this coming down here, I have these rows of lighter foliage in the dark. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to turn it like this. And I'm going to go ahead and commence to put my darker areas in there first. And then I'll come back and do the light areas. So let's just start right here where the trees begin. And we'll come like this. Now see, some of the colors, you might know it would be green, because green is just a very difficult color to use, period. Just don't cover as well as others. And so I'm getting a kind of a middle tone green here. There's not anything you can do about it. I've mixed it very darkly, but it's okay, because I know how to handle it. First of all, I want to just get it covered. Now, what I like about this is where the fun part begins, because we're just going to come straight across here like there's nothing there. Paint it like we're doing any other painting now, and then right before your eyes in living color, you're going to see it all start coming together. Okay, and I may have to just do it in 2 coats, which is fine. I had forgotten this about this green, but let's don't give up the ship yet. I'm going to kind of come like this, but what I love is the compositional aspect of it. You come like this, and it just comes across, and it connects this whole area. It's a very non-important, important area. That sounds right. But you see, already I know I can come back in and start painting over some of this. It's a little bit on the wet side, but that's okay. And I'll come down like this now. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get that really green effect out of it on my next layer. So this might have worked out just as well. We'll just come straight across and put it just like this, take it on out of the picture. And we'll come back with another and do the same thing. Okay, now while I'm allowing that to dry another layer, let's come to our cedar type trees over here to the left, and I'll start putting them in, and this is going to be kind of silhouetting everything behind it. But for this one, I'm not going to fool around. I'm going to take the black, and then I'm going to take and add a little bit of blue to the black, a little bit of brown, wrong color, a little bit of brown, then a little bit of the dark green. So we're going to have some colors with a little more body in them. And we're going to start up here. Oh yeah, it's doing exactly what I wanted to do. Perfect. And it's covering exactly like I want it to cover. Now I'm going to kind of use a little liberty and make up some Casso trees out of them, if that's okay with everybody. And we should be able to really whip this section out very quickly. That architectural stuff I knew would take us a little bit more time, and it did. But see, there's absolutely no break in here from the standpoint that the green carries you all the way across. And I like this now because it's not the greenish green that sticks out. And now there's some light areas I probably could be putting in there, but I'm not going to worry about it. I am going to come in with a little bit more black. Bring my trunk down like this. And then you just have a mass of foliage down here. So some of it I want to go over the house. We can have it in various and sundry different stages like this, and bring this across and begin leaving a few broken areas like this that are white. They don't have to be perfect. And this particular color is going to take us right on down to the bottom, and I'm going to let a lot of it go together just like I see it in the picture. So we lose this, but I'll have enough resemblance that you can make out what it is. And I'm going to come on this side over here, pull up a little bit more, kind of leave a few more of the light areas for the daylight to come through, and continue it right on like this. And I think it's going to suffice and do everything we want it to do. Now, what I notice is that when I come back like this, this comes down and it covers all of this in a pretty solid mass. So that's really the color I probably should have started with. But, you don't know. So you just do what you think and come back later and do it. Okay. Let's make sure we follow the path of that rock that I'm trying to follow there. And then we do have quite a few light areas on the in the foliage itself by the building. So we're going to leave that. Now I'm going to go up a little bit higher with this one to cover the area that didn't get quite as smooth as I wanted to on the sky. And again, it doesn't really matter, but we all like it to look like we want it to look. So why lie about it? Now let's go back again with more black, blue, and brown. I think that's really the colors I need. And so we're going to just come down like this now. And let this all sort of run together. Keep some daylight areas coming through it like I'm doing. Bring this over here. Now see, if you get this, I told you all about how nicely you could take your flat brush and come down and cover it with these oils, but I think you can do the same thing with this if you practice it with it, and add it, I should say. Okay, you see that part's done, Now, I think what I'm going to do to simplify everything, I'm just going to come across now with this color, and I'll show you exactly how I'm going to remedy this problem. See, that's my first color. Let it dry, and then I don't even have green in it. It's going to just get rid of any of the problems that might have presented. So we'll come across like this and like this. Okay, now this is going to be great because the second color is staying wet. It's doing exactly what I want it to do. So I can even leave a little bit of this other coming through, but I like to go ahead and cover it completely. Now notice how that really does stand out ahead of everything that's behind it. And I might come back and put some little details in later. Okay, now while it's still wet and before it dries, let me do one last thing here. I wanted that real clean cut edge there. So well, I mixed up this batch of a lighter green that we're going to come back in while this is wet now. You see, and this will work very nicely. Doesn't have to have any rhyme, any pattern. Maybe I could come down a little lower with this where you can see it better. I don't know whether you'll be able to see this on here at this size. It's pretty dark. But anyhow, some type of shrubbery, and nailing that sucker. Some of it I'll have come up extended, still be darker than the building. Just try to do what I can do to not have sharp edges. Come on, now see, this is strictly like an oil. It's blending nicely, doing everything I want it to do, breaking up the monotony. And I'm just randomly putting it on there very, very quickly. Okay, and that's only going to leave us our rocks now. I'll let this get dark as it goes out. Now, I like that. Yes. And then I like that so much, we might even put a little bit more back in here. Break some of this up, even though it's not in the picture. It's our prerogative. It's your painting. Once you start it, reality becomes the canvas. So we're going to just continue this all the way around. I like that better. Okay, how's that look on the screen? Oh, man. You can't see a lot of diversions in here. If I lift it, no, I don't think that's going to show up. But maybe you'll see it when you look at it. Okay, now, likewise, I'm going to come up here. Very last thing we want to do, got a couple of bushes on the side of it, so we're going to get the blue, the green, the black again, and then we're going to put our last bushes in here. Excuse me. Maybe it overlaps a little. They came out with a little bit more blue in them. Hey, we'll make them blue spruce. How about that? Is there such a tree? Right, and we're going to do this one. Same thing. And but I want to get that. I want to get a little bit more of the green and the black in here now, and make sure we don't have it too far removed from what the rest of it looks like. But I do like that little, where that little blue snuck itself in there. Kind of darken that right there. Okay, I really think that's got that sucker singing now. Come up a little higher like this. Let's don't sweat it. Move on. Move on, move on, move on, Casso. Okay, it's one last thing that I think it needs. Finish this off. This roof needs to be a little bit darker. And this roof needs to be a little bit darker. Yes. So I darkened this roof, this roof. The rest of it I think is going to be fine. I don't even know why I'm doing this, but I'll show a couple of windows on the back of that. Okay, now the fun's going to start. We're going to take another break and figure out where we're at and how we want to do this. I'm pretty sure I already know. And this is going to be a lot of fun. This really is going to be fun. Okay, let's just stop it for a minute. Okay, now I'd like to come in and we're going to have to back off on this a little bit. Get it all in the picture for you. All right, I just did a little experimenting. What I've got is ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, a little bit of white. I'm using a brush I didn't mention that I have a little. They came out with a little bit more blue in them. Hey, we'll make them blue spruce. How about that? Is that such a treat? Right, and I'm going to do this one. Same thing. And but I want to get that. I want to get a little bit more of the green and the black in here now, and make sure we don't have it too far removed from what the rest of it looks like. But I do like that little, where that little blue snuck itself in there. Kind of darken that right there. Okay, I really think that's got that sucker singing now. Come up a little higher like this. Let's don't sweat it. Move on. Move on, move on, move on, Casso. Okay, it's one last thing that I think it needs. Finish this off. This roof needs to be a little bit darker. And this roof needs to be a little bit darker. Yes. So I darkened this roof, this roof. The rest of it I think is going to be fine. I don't even know why I'm doing this, but I'll show a couple of windows on the back of that. Okay, now the fun's going to start. We're going to take another break and figure out where we're at and how we want to do this. I'm pretty sure I already know. And this is going to be a lot of fun. This really is going to be fun. Okay, let's just stop it for a minute. Okay, now I'd like to come in and we're going to have to back off on this a little bit. Get it all in the picture for you. All right, I just did a little experimenting. What I've got is ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, a little bit of white. I'm using a brush I didn't mention that I have. It's a number 12 brush, and I like it for things like this. I probably could have used the other one just as well, but I want to purposely come in and make this diluted enough to where all my lines come through. Now I'm going to go ahead and cover everything with the gray that we've got here. It's going to come right on down. And I'm not worried about it being too pretty. I just want a base coat on here, but I'm putting what you call a veil. That's where you get your basic gray color on there like you want it, but then you come back and you dilute it and you use it as your middle tone. Now I may only do portion of this on the demo for you, because you're going to find that once I do one section, it's going to be the way you'll do the rest of it, you see. So that's anything you tackle like this. You always have to remember, you have to take one section at a time, just like you eat an elephant. Well, see, I'm letting it dry, and I notice how that paint starts coming up, leveling out the down here. It's drying a little bit on me. There are special acrylic brushes that you can use for this that are like a bristle brush, flat, big, a little bit bigger. But this is good for what we're doing. So the main thing is, I should have just come once. As long as I have the basic lines in there, so like all of this over here will be fine. I'm really not worried about how pretty it is. See, it's wet enough that I can lift it, and then I can come back in and kind of run it across like this. I'm going to do it that way, but see, I'm going to do it this way coming back, because I'm doing it with the perspective of those lines I have in there, see? Okay, let's see if I can take a little bit of water here. Take that off, okay, that's good. Yeah, this is really working out really well. Because as I can see, as it dries, I have a lot more pigment on it than you realize. It's like putting the first coat of paint on a wall. See, I don't mind all that white showing through. Okay, and I'll probably, what I'll do on this first thing is if I can figure out my own drawing here. Okay, I see it. I'm probably going to start off with the shadow on the side of this one, and there's a large. This fascinates me, that the perspective of these things automatically going towards there. So when I do, one section, like I said, which I plan on doing very quickly, you'll see that it makes it easy to do the rest of it. Okay, this is going to take a few minutes to dry. So let's just go ahead and do that and get one other thing done that I'd like to do. You can see how nice the composition looks already. Just getting all that white out of there. It's hard to see exactly with this frame, but you can see it coming together very nicely. Okay. And what I've determined, this is kind of one of my main rocks. See this flat plane right here and here, going down here. It's kind of light area connected with all the light areas here. These are all going to be predominantly the same, different darks, different colors, which I think will make it quite interesting. Okay, so I probably am only going to do a part of this because it strings the videos out, repeats a lot of things. I'll do it and then finish it later and let you see the finished piece, because once I do this, everything over here will be exactly the same. Okay, let's get our brushes all lined up. Now the first thing I want to do, I want to take and establish, I've got my middle tone, come in and establish my light area. So what I've got here is a lot of light sections that are doing that thing here. So let's just do this. And then we'll do this. Now, I don't know whether this is the best brush for this or not. We'll see. Okay, I think that's working a little bit better. I maybe needed to just get the pigment on a little bit better. Not use as much water. Okay, I'm coming back over this part. Now this is going to be a process that's going to give us a really nice light area. And then as it comes around here, we'll do some more. And then gradually taper off down here like this. Pick up a little bit more like this. Just overall give us a rounded type of section. And then we'll have a little bit of it coming around the side here. Okay, like this, and maybe going down into here. Now then this part down here is going to be basically white, and you're going to have this white area going around here. So without really messing with it a lot, we're going to have it like we want it. Put a little bit more of that white section here. Most of this now is going to really be covered with just a slight suggestion of the white. See, we don't want anything really light. Now, as I come around the bend, we've got a unique situation in that we've got some blue and we've got some green. It's got a little red in it, but I'm going to put the red in separately. This is going to be blue and green that I'm going to dilute. Just get a little bit more of the green in it. And try it on a little piece of paper. And I think this is going to be exactly what I want. And you see, this is what I'm talking about. This is going to come down, maybe a little more green. Might be a little bit on the dark side. We're going to come in like this. Like this. And then we're going to let it kind of start rounding around the bend like this. Okay, as we come back to this now, I'm satisfied with what I came up with there. But let's come in. Now notice also, there's some really pretty red areas that wash in over this, you see? So we're going to just do the same thing, and we're going to pick up some of those reds from the top of it. And also there's a lot of red that you see on some of these areas up here with the light area. So we're just going to come in, and this is something you never could do with oil. See, and this is why before you come to quick conclusions about it, give it a little time, because this is phenomenal what it's doing right now. Okay, now I've got it to a point that I want to come in and get my pure black now for what I want to do. And I have an area here that that comes like this. And see, what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to come in and give it the roundness by what I do here. And I've got another line that comes in like this. Make sure I'm in the picture, okay. And really exciting in a way, the kind of things you can do with it. I'm using a number 6 brush. I don't think I mentioned that, but I also have a 6. But it's very seldom that I use them, but it just looked like it would work out perfectly for this. Okay, now we're going to come back like this. Now you see what I'm noticing is that down at the base, this is really dark. So we're going to come in like this, and come in like this. Okay, and I'm starting to pick up a shadow that's on the base of that. But before I go any further now, I want to come back in, and I'm not really sure. Let's take the blue and the brown. I want a gray, a darker gray. I don't know that I want to use black. So let's just start glazing a little bit of this color over it and darkening this somewhat. Now, some of this may still be a little wet, so probably, now see, it's giving it a little bit more roundness to it. I'm satisfied. See, now that I got that about where I want it, I'll come back like this and start building up this area. See, it's really not a big deal, one way, no matter how you do it. Okay, now this is working just the blue and the brown like a watercolor now. Now again, I'm not looking at this on the screen, but oh man, that looks great. These are some of the pluses you're starting to see about this, you see. Now, back here, we got a little shadow. Let's come back, I don't mind using a solid black on this. Bring that around, and see you can, I have seen some of my students I've learned a lot from. One of them is Georgia Dusar, who's really perfected her own style in acrylic on canvas, and uses a lot of transparencies that I've never seen anybody do before. It's been quite interesting to see it. Okay, we're going with a little bit more of the blue and brown. Again, maybe one blue one time, maybe more brown the next time. Doesn't matter. Okay, now we're going to come up like this, bring this up around here. Start skipping it a little bit. And I think it's really developing the roundness factor that I want to have in it. Now, I'll get it to a certain point. I might just decide I need a little more blue. So I'm going to come in and put a little more blue, see? That'd be better, I think, to wait and go ahead and let this dry. But while it's drying, I'm going to come up here. I'm going to take my blue and my brown again. And I'm going to come around here and put this edge in like this. Now I did lose some of the areas I shouldn't have lost, so I'm just going to wipe that back out. I should be doing this like this, you see. So we'll come back like this. And then now I'm going to just keep it up and start building up my next layer. You see, and then I'll come up like this with this color. And now let's go in with the black. Come in with this like this. Really trying to make it look like stone. Okay, and then I'm going to start with some darker sections like this in here. Another darker one like this back here. See, we're going to start getting in more and more of the detail without really putting in a lot of detail. And that's going to sound like a contradiction if there ever was one, but we really don't have to. Now, see, I think I might be close to what I need, other than I want to come in and there's a lot more trashy stuff in here I'd like to put and make sure it's thick enough. Now some of this is taking a little longer to dry than I expected, which is no big deal, but you just have to make plans for it. Come around like this and bring this up. And then see, I have a really strong dark area where this turns around. Okay, and then see, I'm building up this area, and then you get another strong area back in here. And then this is where you can come in, take that black and get yourself some interesting looking shapes and all this kind of stuff, and not be slowed down with anything. And then you come up here, and I can already see the next layer I'm worried about. It's got a lot of rocks, a lot of broken looking things here that come around, and they just sort of disappear back here. And then you have a little something that comes here, and then this comes like this, you see. And so as you look and see, you find more and more things that you can do to fill it in and create the interest, you see. Now we're going to do this, and then I'm going to come back in with that brown and green color. Put a little bit more of this up in here. Get some more green in it. Let's see, I already know. Okay, I'm gonna leave this for now, but let's go back now. Get some of the alizarin crimson. Start like this. Get some more of our red in here. Or different colors, you know, just whatever we think we want to put, really. Now up here, these two levels are rather light, but I'd like to come in and put that last one next to it with a little bit more gray and brown, like for instance right here. Make sure that's dark enough for what I want it to be. So look at that, just how amazingly well that all comes together. And then you come in now with your solid black. Now this is where you have to really go back to get the effect you want and make it really stand out. You have to really dip back in that brush quite frequently and get the colors that you need. You see, and then as you come up here, you know, we can put ledges like this in here, and just any kind of thing to break it up, show that this is another area coming out like this. It doesn't really matter. Who cares at this point? Now, one thing I would like to do, I'm going to do one last area, and then you can see the rest of it finished to paint it from, because like I said, I don't think it's necessary to do the whole thing. Let's step off a little bit for a second, and let's maybe go up a little bit higher, because I want to really see it with our frame on it now. Okay. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. That is looking great. Okay. Let's go ahead and do one more thing that I want to show you. Up here, I feel like this, two things. We'll take my 1/2-inch brush. Let's get some of the blue and the brown. See, in the 1/2-inch brush, you get a little bit more vigorous with it. See, I can just glaze over everything. Needs to be darker. I want it darker here. So now I've got to stop and let that dry. And likewise, take some different colors and all. I want this darker coming in. I want these surrounding areas on the perimeter to be a little darker, because I think most of you know the rule that things closest to you are darker, things further away get lighter. And so we just soften this enough. Now, it's amazing when you start just really generalizing how quickly this stuff will just come together. You see, and like I said, I don't want to do too much more in any of this, because I think we're pretty close to what we want. Except I do want to do one last thing, and that's we're going to call this part finished. And I'll probably go ahead and finish it and do the rest of it, show you the last part of it, because it's the same, see? All right, now we're going to come back to strictly the blue and green. And I tried that round brush, it worked fine, but I think we can maybe do a little bit more by doing this one. So let's just come down like this. See, a little blue came out on it. Hey, what, me worry? Boy, these lines are really pretty nice and crisp. Let's see, this will be nothing but a straight perspective. Now I'm going to have it a little darker than this. You see, but I want a lot of that color in there, and I'm going to let this dry and put a lot of, but you got to have a color I like, that's the one I'm going to put in there. Okay, I'm going to do one other area that I won't try to complete the same way. This is the same next to it here. Might have a little more green in it, which is okay. See, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this area with the black streak that comes out. And you see, now watch how you start coming out, doing things for your perspective, like I'm doing here. Okay, let's see, now that's coming out a little bit better. See, but now we're going to start getting things that go this way. So we're going to get that here too. So now we not only have the perspective going this way, but we're going to start doing different things that are going to create more interesting patterns horizontally, you see. This is going to get pretty dark here. And it doesn't mean that this is cast in stone, but I'm just going to kind of do it to get my next layer established. Okay, turn it off just a second while I blow dry. Now, I'm normally not one that gets into this kind of stuff too much like some of my students do, but I want you to notice this corner right here. Let's see if I can get my hand on it. Okay, look at, I don't know whether it's a panda. Look at the eyes. How can I get on this paper? Let's come around this way. Okay. Here are the eyes, the nose, a little bit of the mouth. It's either a panda or a werewolf. But anyhow, so be it. Now, as we go in for the last roundup, I'd like to just come back in. I needed to get that dry before I could do what I'm getting ready to do. I'm going to do my black here. Now, see, notice what I was telling you about the horizontal patterns that I'm getting out of this now. And these rock formations. This is so intriguing. Okay, we got this, and then we're going to just continue it right on down. And a little crevice here that goes like this. Okay, then we're going to have take the blue and the brown, a little bit of black, whatever comes out will work. So we're going to kind of have some more perspective stuff here. We'll do this and use different colors purposely. But again, this is almost like a watercolor, see? And this is just really phenomenal, to be honest with you. Now, just won't hurt it, or just dilute it a little bit, and it'll be just what I want it to be. So I don't want that real strong white competing with this white here. Okay, I think it's a good time to stop this part. Now that I've got the pattern worked out, I am going to go ahead and finish this other. I'm about to run out of tape. As I said, I don't think it's necessary for us to do the whole thing. This is enough to tell you what to do, and it gets boring watching all of it. And you can see there's not too much going on, but the pit patterns like this, maybe up here, but again, as you'll see later, it's just going to be kind of making them tone down and working it all over and losing it.